Hello, I'm Suamili Nanai and I'm a weightlifter. So I started weightlifting due to finishing rugby because of some health reasons, but I chose weightlifting because it had the similar energy output that I had. I tried CrossFit first, didn't like gymnastics and the cardio component to it. However, I found a strong interest to weightlifting, and so I started a small program, and that was about 2 years ago when I started, and from there the passion just grew stronger and stronger, and now I compete competitively internationally in weightlifting. So I think with me, I really enjoy sports. My motor skills are pretty at a high level, and I just understand the dynamics of any sport. And so as an athlete, I think that being the first most, being enjoying actually playing sport. I do have, I guess, good genetics to be able to compete in weightlifting at a good level because of strong bones and the ability to grow muscle. I think I am very teachable. I enjoy learning new skills. I think those three could be the start of why I think I think myself as a good athlete. You know, you have to be tough to be in weightlifting. So I think I would say I'm a tough kid. Since taking up weightlifting competitively, we've started training twice a day for about 6 days a week, 5 days a week, sorry. So that's around 8 to 10 sessions that are 2 hours long. Mornings and afternoons are different based on the timing of the program. However, we try to get a lot of heavy squats in, heavy pulls, and then a lot of it in the afternoon is done right here at the Weightlifting Club, where we do all our major lifts. In weightlifting, I think the greatest challenge is what would have been COVID for a fair bit of it, because we, as weightlifters, weren't able to leave the state or even the country to compete competitively, and that takes a bit of a toll on those who are passionate about the sport, because all those competitions, they mean a lot to us and they obviously keep us driving. I think as the athlete alone, weightlifting takes a big toll on your body, and so if you aren't looking after your body and if you are not capable of withstanding that sort of pain and all that sort of, and pushing through it, I guess that could be the biggest challenge and why a lot of weightlifters stop and maybe take a ease back. But it really is it's a very tough sport. It's great sport when it's done properly, but if you aren't looking after your body, it will take a toll on your body, and I guess that will cause people to get injured. That's all part of the journey, I guess, of weightlifting, that you need to understand that it's not just you can come in here and lift heavy weights. You know, you've got to do them properly. You've got to be coached well, and you've got to understand your technique. Having a coach that understands what's best for you, especially at whatever level you are at. If you are a novice lifter, I would not expect a coach to be saying you need to do anything that an elite athlete's meant to be doing. So I guess that's one of the other big challenges, is understanding where you are and having a coach to be able to coach you that. I would say at the moment, in preparations for the games, I would wake up around 7:30, have my first meal, get my supplements into me as much as I can. First training sessions at 9 o'clock, 9:30. That's dependent on how cold it is, so it might be even a bit longer. Lunchtime is around 12:30, and then I usually come home, have a little nap, just to get ready for the afternoon session. The commute from home to where I train in the afternoon is about an hour, so there's a lovely journey on Kwinana Freeway, and everyone in WA knows how crappy Kwinana Freeway can be. So an hour in there, I would usually use some sort of music or podcast to listen to. Training at 4 o'clock here with the Weightlifting Club, and that goes to about 6:30. Then commute back home, get home, have dinner. Dinner is usually chicken and rice or some sort of steak and pasta, and then bed at 10 o'clock, and then a repeat on a daily. That's during the week, and so that's pretty much my life. Can be quite boring and lonely, but I think it's what it takes to get there. So there are no fun days. It can be quite Groundhog Day if you think about it. So And I think to go back to that other question of what makes a good weightlifting athlete is that to be okay with having that same routine day in, day out, eating the same food day in, day out, doing the same workouts day in and out, and and being okay with not doing anything new, because and it's taken me a while to understand that, especially just coming in and just going, oh, not this again, and also going home and going, oh, I'm not eating this again. All the great champions in the world will testify to that. They eat the same meal, they do the same routine every day, and that's what is required for you to be a great athlete, is to be okay. And I think I've learned that being in the Navy myself. We have a very set routine on a daily, and so being okay with doing the same thing day in, day out, Groundhog Day, not getting your mind twisted up and being like, oh my gosh, it's another. I think that's what's helped me become the athlete that I am today, and being okay with the journey of weightlifting. Well, as a weightlifter, it is a very single man sport. However, I would say having a team of weightlifters to train around is one of the things that I've taken away as really important to me, because I can't train on my own, and if I do, I probably wouldn't train as hard as I would, but having a team of weightlifters training around you, in this garage alone, we'll probably get 5 or 6 weightlifters training around, and just having that alone kind of is like somebody walking through the trenches with you and doing that pain with you, and so you're sharing the pain of weightlifting training with them. And so I think that would help me mentally and just physically and emotionally as well. So having teammates who know about the sport or about recovery, that that you can share ideas with. The coach who is head of the team is obviously the most important part, and any weightlifter would testify that having a coach who is part of the team is, so that's how I think teamwork relates to weightlifting. For those who are just starting out in weightlifting, first find a community that you love to work around. It'll make it fun first, it'll make it enjoyable to begin with. And then if you want to take it seriously, find a coach who you look up to, or who has been in the industry long, or who has gone places with it. And if they know more than you, then learn from them, and be teachable, respect their coaching and take on their advice. You'll gain so much from being taught by a coach, because they'll be able to see the stuff that you don't see. And once you start getting better and better, I would say first fix your technique first and get a good routine going, and then compete. Don't be scared to get onto the 4x4. It's very daunting, and everyone who starts out avoids it like a plague, but the moment you get on there, you just enjoy this atmosphere of competition that is euphoric in a sense, and so it becomes more addictive, and then the cycle starts again. So I would say that they start increasing their weights before their technique. So I think that's an ego thing. You should always leave your ego at the door, and that's just for your safety, really. So I've seen lots of weightlifters, and I was one of those, who without technique still didn't understand it properly, was just relying on my strength. And thankfully I had not injured myself, but I could see myself without fixing my technique, I would have injured myself eventually. But thankfully I was blessed with a coach who said, let's start from the beginning, because everything is wrong. And I was like, oh no, okay then. So that recovery is just as important as your training. So listen to your body when you train. I think most athletes will thank me for saying that, because you're only human. So a lot of athletes I would say, may find themselves frustrated that they're not lifting the weights that they were supposed to be lifting. But just trust the process. In time, your body will be able to lift what you need to. And if you do get frustrated, perhaps it's just a good time to just have a chat and fix some little things in the program. Or in all, I would say just a lot of athletes make that mistake of not trusting in the process, and then just throwing it away to start new with something else. So just stick with it right there and to see it to the end. If you're not getting your 10,000 hours, and then yeah, there's nothing really to complain about, right? Because you just got to get your hours in. So my training block or cycle is very measured. Obviously we start tapering the week before, and the week of we start tapering the program down, and so that gives my body some time to just rest and prepare for a big lift, whether it be on the Sunday or the Saturday. But for whatever day it is, leading up to that, I will just ensure that my body is at optimum level, and that is through physio or massage therapy, recovery, things like the cold pool or hot sauna, massage guns. My nutrition is always has to be optimum, but that nutrition type mentality, I believe, and for me, it's worked when it's done 4 or 5 weeks beforehand. Optimally, it needs to be done the entire block. But I would say that my food needs to be the same, or if not better, about 4 weeks and consistently throughout that time, and that would make sure that on comp day, before competition, my body would be at optimum level. On comp day itself, or during the week, I like to get my hair cut. That's just like a small little routine thing that I do. So I always leave it to like maybe 2 days before. So just get a nice cut. I always like that, just to feel nice and fresh. Comp day comes, we weigh in about an hour or 2 hours before the competition starts. So once I start weighing in, I put my headphones on and I go into a state of incognito mode, which I've kind of dubbed myself. But and what that is just that headphones go in and I don't talk to anyone. I don't speak to anyone. I just let myself be in my emotion, and in that moment I'm just listening to all sorts of motivational stuff. I'm listening to my Bible app. I'm listening to gospel music. Listening to just everyday music that makes me feel like dancing. It just keeps myself calm, because I believe that if I keep myself calm as possible, when it does get to the 4x4 and my heart starts to raise, I will still be in control and I won't be overwhelmed. So, and then we start lifting, and once we start lifting, it's game on from there. My game face starts on once incognito mode starts. Once I'm in there, I apologize to anyone who's out there who wants to come talk to me, but that's my time. I need to prepare myself, and so I need to get into the right mindset, and that could be anything from just trying to let go of all the distractions that are happening or plans that I have, or even just thinking about the lifts. I just remove that all and just be in that moment with me and just feel my, and hear my body really go. Well, I'm a Royal Australian Navy sailor, so for work I instruct maritime warfare. On weekends, Friday and Sundays, I participate at church, and I'm a youth leader, so I look after youngsters and try and encourage them to all sorts of things, just be with them and enjoy their companionship and everything. So if I'm not training, I'm sleeping or listening to music or spending time with my loved ones. So to maintain a healthy lifestyle, you need a routine. That routine needs to be consistent. So some people don't like routines, some people like to, but I think a routine that you wake up at a certain time and you go to sleep at a certain time, and that allows you to be, to measure how much sleep you're having. You should have a routine for when you need to have meals, and when you obviously need to drink water, and obviously then your training time. Support, that's obviously a big one. So family, friends, partners, those who can give you that emotional aspect to keeping yourself healthy, and that's both in and outwards, so you can chat to them when you're feeling a bit low through your life, and they can chat to you to help you if you're feeling great, and they need so it's like give and take type thing. Faith for me is a big one. That helps me mentally, because it gives me something to look forward to, look up to, I'll never reach it, but it always makes me feel like I can go further than what I am doing. With church, obviously, comes that community, so it's out, engagement, so that you have a support network there. But yeah, with faith, it doesn't make it easy, but it makes it possible. So greater things out there. There's a purpose for why we're doing things. Why I put my body through pain. It gives me purpose, and so if that gives me purpose, it gives me understanding, and that gives me a positive mindset moving forward. I would say the hardest part of my journey would have to be the fact that I had only started this sport 2 years ago, and having to kind of catch up to everyone else in a sense of where I should be, because having to learn everything from scratch as well, having to be adaptable to the sport in general. My body needed to adapt to a new sport, and this has taken a massive toll. So most competitors will go into the Commonwealth Games would have been weightlifting veterans for at least 5 years plus. And here's me coming under with a year and a half worth of training and having to try and, be at the same level of them. And so that required us to train harder, train more often. That taught me to shift my entire routine at home as well, to make sure that I'm not doing anything outside, be focused on that. But that all as an adjustment had to be learned, and I struggled through, and many times. So, but I feel like we're on track now. My learning of the sport has been fast tracked. The way the Saxtons, Andrew, my head coach, the way he has trained me is a modified elite version, because he knows that I've only just started in training, or I'm very baby in the weightlifting sense, but he needs me to be at a very high level of training intensity. So having to be able to adapt to that has been a big struggle on the body, on the mind as well, and especially on my day-to-day lifestyle routine. So